I had to show y'all that after the show.
All
I have to
right.
get it for the next
Give me
day.
a quickie.
So
Hey y'all.
Sounds like you.
I became Nicole.
Hey,
y'all.
Oh, girl.
Right. Hey y'all.
She's so country. Yeah, New York.
Right.
Coming. Yeah. And I'm learning too. Hey neighbors.
Hey neighbors. Hey, I'm back and we got a special guest.
Hey, if you don't know,
Alright, you better
I'm
know.
telling you.
Come
Right.
in here, right. I'm just gonna get used to seeing that. Right, yeah.
She's my new best friend.
Right.
Sorry, best friend. You know who you are. So sorry.
I'm adding to it. This is an addition. Right. We are growing.
Exponentially with
Yes.
this one.
Yeah.
So, I want you to introduce yourself. Tell us what you do and go ahead.
Absolutely. Well, I'm Tanya. I come from Talk Your Shit Podcast. A podcast, we pretty much talk about any and everything, but we come from real life experiences. I prefer to talk about the hard conversations, the shit that people want to keep behind the scenes. Nobody want to know about. Well, no, people don't tend to want to talk about because everybody, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's going through
That's what
something.
we do.
Exactly. Because those are the ones not only do they tend to hit home, they just resonate more with people.
It's
In
about
addition,
something.
exactly. And it's specific. It's targeted. And that's what I do intentionally. But you know, we talk shit too. You know, we talk it up. We have fun.
If you didn't catch us, we were on the podcast Saturday.
Yes.
And I feel like my mind was blown, so go blow your mind.
Right. Go watch
Absolutely.
Saturday's episode.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna dive right deep. Like, I want to know a little bit about like before the podcast and kind of what led you there. So like,
Okay. So, if you heard me say I was heavily in the church.
I wouldn't know.
yeah, it was used to be. Definitely things look a lot different than what they used to be. But it's more intentionally speaking.
I amen to that.
So I started off just journaling, and then I went to blogging, and then blogging went to podcasting.
Right.
So, but it's crazy how it kind of came about though, because I went to support somebody else at like an event or whatever, and so I was just chilling in the bed. So the lady ended up coming because everybody else here only got businesses or whatever, and she came and she was like, "Well, what you got to you?" And I was like, I'm just here to support.
Cheerleader.
And she was like, "Well, no, you got something in there." And I'm like, "Motherfucker, no, I don't." So, right, but I ended up leaving there, and I kept hearing podcasts. I had never heard of a podcast. Kept hearing podcasts. So you know how you try to shake things off out the back of your mind, and I was like, but it kept coming back. So I eventually started asking people about, like, what do you think a podcast is? What is a podcast? Nobody knew. Until I hit this one dude, and he was like, "Oh, you know, this is what a podcast is." So I went to looking up podcasts. And then my best friend ended up coming up on like this podcast with like 3 black girls, and all we could hear was the audio. Nobody was really doing the visual, right? So once I heard the audio, I was like, "Ooh, bam, I got it. Now I hear you, Lord," right? So it was on go at that point. Originally it was called We Lit. Like I hadn't already made post told people that I was gonna come out with it, but I was still, you know, I believed that that's the direction that I needed to go, but I still didn't know how to go about it. But then eventually, you know, it came about a whole different way. It started with just not only me, but it started with my best friend and cousin. So we started off and it was called Spoken with Purpose. Yeah, and it was a hit now.
Now, was it hard to find a name?
No. And believe it or not, I think he stayed. I could be wrong. It's either a week or two, but we was hitting everything. Once we came up with the name, once we came up with the goal, like the direction that we wanted to take off, we was hitting banners. Everything went into line. We was hitting every like Spotify. Everything was already distributed and joking. And when I say we was A1, everything was A1 by the time we did our first show.
Isn't that crazy? That sometimes you accidentally stumble upon your purpose just by like fueling your soul. Because like I feel like that's what happened with us. Like I feel like your purpose comes. It's just you gotta listen and pay attention.
I totally agree. Damn, that's deep. You know, only people who are really in tune.
You gotta listen.
is gonna understand that, because everybody are not there, and I get it, and I pray that everybody do get there. You know what I'm saying? If you do, you don't. You know, it's it is what it is. It's not what the Lord have you, but once you get there, everything shifts.
Yeah.
Like your perspective, even on life, just changes.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't even function the same.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a church right
Look,
now.
I'm gonna tell you, because
That's how I feel. Like I want to hallelujah to you. Because I feel like also what happens in your life, and I'm getting goosebumps. Literally wild. Because what happens in your life, sometimes terrible as it is in the moment, you're like, Lord, like who the hell do you think I am? I can't do this.
Correct.
But it all works out to literally where you need to be. You may not like the journey.
Yes.
I said you may not.
Yes.
You may not like the journey, but it's like it propels you there.
Absolutely.
So I want you to take us kind of to like what, because you were at this event, blah blah blah, but there's more. Like there's more, because I feel like you wanted it to be about something.
Oh yeah.
So what really took you there, emotionally, spiritually, mentally?
Absolutely.
What took you there?
Because I feel like, because it all goes back to the church for me, unfortunately. I'm not going to say unfortunately, but that's where it goes for me, right? And I always felt like there was always more to it. I used to always have these questions in the back of my mind, because I was in that job for like 6 days a week. You understand what I'm saying? In and out, it was just life for me. And so with me having those questions, and then once my sister passed away, I almost adopted the fuck people mentality, if I'm being perfectly honest. Yeah.
That's how you are.
Right? But it immediately shifted, because all those questions that I had with the why, once my sister passed, the Lord had me unlearn some things. He was like, I need you to unlearn everything that you think you know or have been taught. Because if you don't unlearn it, then you're going to reject the new information that I'm going to give to you. So I was like, well, how in the hell does one unlearn? And then I just slowly, just being able to just be receptive and be willing to trust what he said allows the unlearning to process, and it allows you to be able to receive the new information that he's going to download into you. So once he did that, I was already frustrated with how a lot of people function. Right? How we're so inconsiderate of each other as the humanity, right? So he went to heightening a lot of that. And he was like, pinpoint that. So, even though and talk your shit is real catchy, and I understand it was very intentional when I named the show that way. And I knew I would get a lot of feedback, because a lot of people do recognize me as a church, but I personally don't care. You don't got no heaven, no hell, then I'm gonna do whatever it is that I feel like I need to do, right? And if it's catchy, then you coming in exactly where I want you to be. Come sit exactly where I want you to sit. Right. So once I got that information, then I already knew the direction that I was gonna take with it. So I was like, we're gonna pick, and we're gonna talk about real things that hit home. It's basically looking in the mirror. Because I think we have a hard time. We love to put the mirror in other people's faces, but we don't like to walk to that
Michael said, man in the mirror, you better take a look at it.
Exactly. So talk your shit is a reflection of yourself.
Okay. Are you still heavy in the church?
Not on the religious side. I'm very spiritual. If I'm being perfectly honest, that's how I move. Right. When she say the journey, I call it the process. So I embrace every moment. The Lord allowed me to take good and bad off of just everything in life. So if you can't label it good or bad, then all you can do is kind of accept it, right? And then when you accept it, then you have to enjoy it, because I truly believe that everything is intentional, it's purposeful, and that everything is going to work out for my good. Right. So if you believe that, then the process is going to be what it is.
Yeah, that's good.
Because you got to accept it.
Exactly.
So you left me speechless. This is something I didn't know about you. Yeah. But like, I lost a sibling too, my little brother. And the change, because he was in a coma for a year, whatever have you. But like the loss, he was setting me up for who I am today. Yeah. And I say that because like, only one who experiences like great loss
Yeah.
can acknowledge like you changed completely.
Absolutely.
And you see things differently. Like you said, you're spiritual. We met. We were fitness coaches
Right.
on kind of a team that was very religious, right?
Right.
I've always been a spiritual. I say spirituality
Mhm.
because religion really has nothing to do with it.
Correct.
Because at the end of the day, your relationship with God is a spirit
Exactly.
and not necessarily what people tell you. to do.
Correct.
So, how did that loss influence like who you became? And it's a process, like you said, it's a process. How did that loss influence that?
Oh, it was final. The finalization of it. I remember like leaving the hospital. Oh gosh, you're gonna bring tears to my eyes, right? Because this is how I really
I'm
did
fighting
it.
that shit right now. I'm not gonna lie. I heard you say that. My whole heart shook. Like, it didn't like beat. It shook. But
Yeah.
I get it. So I mean, you're in the
God.
same space. Do what you need to do because that's what we're here for.
Yeah,
right? So-
absolutely.
We usually have a box of tissue, but she likes the crying.
I just feel like it's
I ain't gonna hold it back.
very
If that's what it's gonna do, then that's what it's gonna do.
because it is what it is. Like I feel like why we started this
Mhm.
is very similar. Like to be about something
Yes.
outside yourself, and then there's stories to be told that nobody wants to tell.
Yes.
The shame, the whatever
guilt,
people think,
right.
guilt,
Mhm.
and so. Damn, I'm
And
killing me right now.
always
Finish it off,
going-
girl, 'cause
Yes.
Somebody's always going through something.
Exactly.
And even the ones that don't speak about it, we wanted a platform that we can speak about it so they know that they're not alone.
what she said.
Yes.
Come on, man. Cause my heart, I'm like.
And even though it may not help you, you heard it.
Right.
Because my goal ain't to, you
You
know,
know,
I want to,
everybody's life.
exactly.
Right.
But that
Exactly.
one person
Right. Mhm.
that damn it, I don't know what's going on.
You know.
when we've heard, and I know that he like, and I don't know if you have, but dang girl, thank you for sharing my story. Even if I didn't say
Yes.
we weren't talking about this girl,
Yes.
but we shared a story that hit
Yes.
that they felt because they went through it, and so like we didn't want to be just like
Just
like,
him.
just talking.
Mhm.
Like a lot of people have podcasts to just talk. I am not downing nobody else's podcast.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, we wanted to have
On purpose.
Yes.
Mhm.
I wanted to be
that
a purpose.
part. Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's so
totally,
important.
oh God.
Even if we touch one person, like
Like,
we
I
did
really
something.
don't give a shit.
I
about
shit, because you know you get, and I ask for topic suggestions, right? And if and I'm cool with that, I love it, and bring them about. But if it's not for me, then I won't do it.
Exactly.
Period.
Yeah.
And,
And
we
we've
had
said-
to learn
we
that.
We had to
to
learn that. I'm not
yeah.
gonna lie. We had to
It's
learn
a
that.
journey.
Sometimes it is. And I mean, we're way newer than you are. You've been doing it for years. 3, 4 years?
Yeah, a
something
little
like that.
over 3.
Yeah. So like April.
Yeah, I'm like
So
y'all
it-
before.
it's very new, girl. Thank you. Sorry, she's way better at like this.
When you
Like, know?
when I feel like if you know, you know.
Mhm.
So when you know that this is something that you have been called to, then you can jump in this thing like
Right.
like you've been in it forever.
It's something that I didn't know that I was supposed to do my whole life.
I can believe that because I think there's certain things that just grasp in the instant, right? And even though it took me, even though I heard it in the instance, it didn't come about in an instance.
No.
Right, it took me, like I told you, in my mind, I had already grabbed the logo, I already grabbed the name, was working on getting the LLC, and I was still trying to figure out exactly what it is that I actually wanted to say, what I wanted to do on it, and how I wanted to bring about this was what was in my mind, or what was in my heart, to this actual platform, and how exactly it is that I actually want this platform to be. You know, because a lot of people were vocal, and I was like, no, and just like you said, even though I may not be necessarily a background person, but I didn't want to be the face. Like, I almost wanted somebody else to be the face for it, right?
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I wanted it to be visual. So I was like, we're going to do the visual and the audio. But once you know, man.
And it just has to be like, how important is authenticity? Because not always
It's very
is
important.
it audio, like some people just want to do video. Like what I wanted to do is open it up to people that don't care to watch. So like this last season we started and we're doing the audio, but let's talk about authenticity, because like sometimes I want to talk about it because
very important.
yes, but not a lot of people do it.
I totally agree, and I think that that's where they lose it at, right?
Amen.
And even people who may not be talking about things like, because I think that, because I think we can misconstrue it sometimes, right? Even people who just talk shit, right? Just by any old thing, just every day, you know, whatever it is, they just joking or whatever. If that was your purpose, then that still can come off authentic, right?
And it still feels right. Because
Exactly.
I do hear, like I got some podcasts that I listen to
That really aren't about something except for letting you forget about the troubles of today. And I say that because like I listen to it and I'm like, dang, I'm laughing. I'm like, oh yeah,
right,
you know, so like it does still serve whatever purpose they needed to serve.
Yeah.
But if it feels fake, it's gonna feel fake.
It's just bad.
Like,
And I think that that's what comes across the screen, or they don't last long because there's so many people on a podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, they feel they see that it's lucrative, right?
Yeah.
I ain't seen the lucrative part.
And if you want to sponsor us,
You are real authentic.
We can travel as a threesome now. We can travel.
It's on the go. Period. This podcast is on the go.
at the end of the day, like, yeah, eventually we're gonna see the fruit of our labors. But it's such a passion project, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like now that you've been doing it for a few years, you see yourself doing something else?
No. Outside of podcasting?
Yeah.
No. Well, not yet. I don't know what the Lord has in store, but no. Now, what you see now will definitely be something different.
Yeah.
But to stop it, absolutely. It's definitely about leveling up, expanding, and growing it, man. What I got going on in this mind, when I say. And I just realized that I need a team. So I'm looking for some
That's where
things
we're at.
to
Yeah.
enhance. And then, you know, I realized that we as people, we collab, we're stingy, we're selfish.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Like I don't like it, but you know, it is what it is. I learned how to adjust to whomever I'm in front of, but I'm gonna remain true to me.
Amen.
So when I say that I want to network and collab, and I say that I want the best for you and that I'm here for you if you need me, I honestly mean that with everything that is within me, right?
I know meeting you was not an accident.
Yeah.
I will say that because since I met you, like not a lot of people leave impressions. Not a lot of people feel like home.
Yeah, I agree.
And everything's with a purpose. So
Yeah.
I feel that because like we don't always we have learned to say no to things because it doesn't feel like us, and we've made our mistakes. Season 1, you know, because I feel like we were testing the waters. We were very open to like, hey, let's bring in people, and not everybody served the purpose of what we were trying to say, whatever. But like going forward is learning, and I feel like we have so much to learn from you. Like honestly, we
I'm here.
in my opinion, on a professional and personal level, like I could just see it. Like,
I'm here.
and there's just not a lot of people like you in this
I agree.
industry. I have learned. Like, what is the hardest thing that you have learned from this industry? I gotta ask because I feel like they're learning.
That people are just users. They're takers.
Take.
And you know, even with me recognizing that, it's not gonna stop me. I'll give you an example. Like I used to do hair. And I remember going to get my hair done by somebody else, and there was like a kitchen hairdresser, right? So say for instance you got this wall, she's in here doing the hair in the kitchen, and I'm sitting over there, so I can't see. But you got other females sitting at this table where they got full access, they got visual,
That
visual.
hair place will get you.
Correct, yeah. So, but I realized that you blocked me from seeing because you heard that I did hair. So you didn't want me to come in here and learn to do whatever it is that you was doing, right? And but just in my own experience, what I'm doing a client's hair, or just because you know sometimes people bring people with them, and we all in here we kiki and ha ha, because I've always been me. And then people will ask me, well, Tanya, how do you do this and how do you do that? And I freely give it.
Right.
Have no problems. I don't care what you do with it, because what you do with it is meant for you.
Right.
What it does for me is meant for me.
Because your sauce is different.
Yeah.
Like
And-
what people
yeah.
understand. So like what I have been seeing is like people don't want to give you the recipe because it's you kind of intimidate them or feel like competition, and I don't see people like that. I don't see a competition because
Either.
there's room at the table for all of us, right?
Yeah.
So like, but people don't see that.
No, they
And
don't. I see it
I-
as a threat.
And I never in my entire life thought like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel
Yeah.
like in this industry, and
Mhm.
I'm saying in entertainment, we have dealt with music people.
Across the board.
We love music, you know, like so like we brought that in. What I have seen is I'm not gonna give you my recipe.
Exactly.
But what is funny is that the recipe could be this. Everybody got it. What you do with it is so different.
Absolutely.
So I don't understand that. It's
Yeah.
such a hard lesson for me to. I still haven't grasped it.
Yeah.
I don't think like that.
You have to. It's
You know?
learning how to. I don't even know the
Adapt.
term. Yeah. It's a process. It's still a process for me. It maybe not as much of a process as it was initially, but it's still a process for me because I personally know that I don't function like that. And then you know you can hit some rough patches in there where you be like, where it make you be like, just cut people off.
Yeah.
But I refuse to let somebody else's actions change my actions. It's never
Yes.
been me.
Say it louder.
Yes,
I
I
agree.
refuse to
I
let somebody else's actions change my actions.
Because it changes your personality.
Yeah.
And you're like, who the fuck are you? to
Exactly.
Change me. Like,
Yeah, I'm giving you way too much power, and I did not give nobody more power than the Lord.
Amen.
Period.
Yeah.
What she
Nobody.
said. Say it loud.
I think I learned that when I first got into the fitness thing, because when I got into fitness, I was new, but I was looking at everybody else like, oh, I like what you do this,
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah.
So I was the type, I had a trainer at the time, and I asked him, I was like, can I use this? Can I do this? And he's like, you don't have to ask. And I'm like, no, because I don't want you to feel like,
yeah.
it's
Respect.
respect.
Totally.
Yeah. You know what you do, you might be like, ugh.
Yes.
But then
Yes.
I learned that like people just keep you close sometimes to kind of like see what you're doing.
Exactly.
So that you don't get ahead of them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna keep you close.
I recognize it.
Right, I'm gonna keep you close, but I'm not gonna give you too much. Because if I
Exactly.
give you too much, then I know you're gonna take off.
Ooh,
So it's like
come
this-
on, man.
Right. Like, being in this industry now, it's kind of like, and it's not anybody that I'm talking about specifically,
No,
but
I get it.
it's like I'm noticing like, I gotta just be careful, like who I'm around, who I'm taking advice for, and what they're saying. Because all advice is not good advice.
Amen.
I agree.
Amen.
I agree. But I even got a method to that. Like I don't care. Like people be like, because you know I have this open book title, like, and I carry it, and I'm cool with it, right? Because I will talk about any and everything, but if the Lord say don't, then I won't.
Right.
That's the only thing that's gonna stop me. If He say don't, then I won't. But when you say that, like I could care less about people. They're like, Tanya, why would you say that? Why would you show this? Or because I don't care.
Right.
What you gonna do? You don't have a heaven or a hell
Yes.
to put Tanya in.
Right.
So I could care less. Not to say that I don't care about people's opinions, but I put them in their proper perspective,
Right.
in their
Yeah.
proper place,
Yeah.
right? Because
where they belong.
exactly.
It's not the end all be all.
Come on now.
I might consider, but I'm not.
Exactly.
This isn't what's going to deter me from anything.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's a strong suit. I recognize that I'm way stronger than what I thought I
Yes.
was, right? So when I run into those type of people, I still stay me.
Yeah.
But trust and believe I see.
Right.
I see.
and I know where to put you.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep you right where you at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not a person who compartmentalizes people. Because I again, I don't want to adjust me, right? Because I don't want to recognize you as somebody who's shady,
Right.
who want to get over, or who don't want to give nothing.
Yes.
Because you just you.
Yeah.
But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you me. I'm gonna give you me. And when you give people you, it brings about shame. It's like
Yeah.
it's something that it's
It
just
does.
different.
Say that
It's
again,
different.
because
It
that
does.
it brings about shame. So what I have learned in just being my full authentic
Yes,
self, because not
yes,
always
yes.
did everybody get it.
Yes.
You didn't get it because you didn't deserve it, in
Correct.
my eyes at
Correct.
that time.
Mhm.
So when I started really not caring who saw it and who got it, because at the end of the day, you don't deserve it, but why do I have to hold back? So that, where you just said, like, I'm just gonna be me, and it's just crazy.
The best thing I could have ever done.
Yeah.
If I'm being perfectly honest, being you is the best thing that you can ever do. And I try my best to instill this in my kids, right? Because it's several copycats out here. We don't need another Nikki. We don't need another Sue J. We don't need another Tanya. I need you. I remember somebody saying something to me in the church, and he was like, he kept calling my name, and I was like, stop calling my name! I wasn't really saying that, but in my mind, he was hitting home, but he was like, my son needs you. My son needs you. He was like, if you don't get up, how's my son gonna get what he needs? I can't give him what he needs. This person can't give him what he needs. You gotta give him what he needs. And it's not even so much to put the ball in your court or to feel like that's your responsibility to fix his son, right? But he's letting you know that get up, like do you, be you. You gotta do what you have been called to. You can't, cause you can't walk in anybody else's shoes. You can't even really adopt them. I don't care how much you feel like you can steal. You cannot be me. I can't be you. Right? So
the
you
sauce is never the mother.
It's
I'm just saying. The same exact recipe for you from Drew.
Never gonna hit
too early. You gonna hit is what? You're making me want to cry.
It's different
because I feel. Jesus.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm the one that makes people cry. But why I say that is because in the struggle of like self-discovery, this is whether you and you did that earlier than we did.
I'm still doing it.
Yeah, it's it's forever long.
Yeah,
you should be
forever
working on
learning.
yourself.
Yes.
But I know why you made me cry. I just feel like for the process of losing so many people to now, it's like I don't know if it hit with you when you. I'm trying to get the words out. You want to be speechless.
I'm sorry.
But when you go through that and it's so definite, you are like a savage. Like you become like death is the worst mother flipping thing you can do.
Yes.
Or go through. So what the fuck am I worried about?
Yeah.
You go through like that process of like nothing is worse than that. So I'm gonna be me to the fullest because I deserve that.
Absolutely. Because for me, it's me because I love me, right? It was my husband. It was because it was 3 sisters. My mom had 3 kids. So it was the sisters, and now she's my oldest sister is gone, so that's us, and then we have our own kids. So anything apart from that, you know, it didn't really, So I'm like, if it ain't this right here, I don't care, right? And it's not that I was gonna be grimy or rude or angry, or you know what I'm saying, just be a nasty person. But I wanted to more or less like not even be in people's face. Like I don't want to deal with people like them because I didn't realize, I didn't think that people were authentic. Like I feel like everybody was just phony. And so it's changing my view on people. And I'm just like, man, don't come over here dropping no food off. That shit out of here, man. Like, or if you came over here and you want to give your condolences, like nothing was real from it. And don't get it twisted. Some people was genuine with it, a lot more people wouldn't. So I was like, man, it had me starting to look at everybody in that way. And I'm like, I don't want to look at people like that. And sometimes the Lord would allow you to see people in a different light that you didn't expect. But I'm not even really talking about that exactly. But once he hit that, the finalization of it, it just hit different. It changed me, and I was just like, it allowed me to. I've always been bold, right? I've always been outspoken, but only when necessary. And so once that hit, I started, because I used to function why I didn't want to offend people. So
you didn't give a shit anyway. Because I can tell you, if you got offended, you got fucking offended.
And my intention was never, so I wouldn't. If I knew it would offend you, then I wasn't gonna say it.
But then you weren't being your true self. So like,
Okay.
I wanna speak on this because I know a lot of people are going through certain times where they've lost people and they lost their way. So like why I want to talk about it is because like I feel like you found your way.
Yeah.
It took a minute.
Yeah.
Because it takes a minute.
Yeah.
I got to cry. I don't know. It's so emotional because it's so real. Because
Yeah,
it's
but
like
you were the same thing. I feel like you lost people when you lost your brother. Like I was there, but I couldn't be. I felt like I couldn't be there because I don't know what it is to lose a brother. Like if I lost my brother, I don't know how I would feel. So I was just there for you to be there.
In whatever way she needed
Right.
you to be.
We would go walking, we would
Yes.
talk, and she would just vent to me about people friends that she had for years, and just stop being like, how could you stop being somebody's friend during this time? Like,
what it taught me
Easily.
is what it taught me for
Easily.
I was like,
yeah, because it's funny. I lost the most people.
mhm.
So like I'm grieving my brother, but I lost the most people during that time because I wasn't what they needed me to be for them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because there was no other, there was nothing else
Yeah. They depended on
but
you.
watching
Things.
my brother and then praying for my brother. It was a process. He was in a coma for a year, so for me it was very much like eye-opening. I mean, I had friends for 20 plus years
Yeah.
that are no longer my friends, not because I took them out,
Yeah.
but because I wasn't the fun,
Yeah.
I wasn't the support, because for once I needed it,
Mhm.
and I didn't ask for it, right? So like it's crazy because you don't ask for it, you need it, and you don't expect it because you're usually that person.
Yeah.
So like but what I learned from that is that I stayed true to who I was at the time I needed.
Mhm.
What happened is those people stayed true to what they
Who they
were.
They were, yeah.
Mhm.
God,
God
God
recognized it.
removed
Yeah.
a mask
Yes.
from what I was carrying
Yeah.
because it was the worst time in my entire life.
Mhm.
And so like I get it because a sister, especially like he was my younger brother, but siblings, it's weird because you don't expect siblings to pass away.
Yeah.
So it's so crazy, but that trajectory took us here. Like
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
that, I say my brother saved my life.
Mhm.
So he spared his to save my life, and I feel like you could agree to that
Mhm.
because we became who we needed to be at this moment for the podcast to share. I am authentically me because I don't give a shit anymore. Because at that point, at the end of the day, I lost all I needed to lose. I lost all I needed
I
to
feel
lose.
like when I
right?
met you were always, well,
I was guarded. I was very
you
guarded.
were, and you said what you had to say. You
I was
people
always
messing
upset.
with you,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. You ain't gonna fuck me up.
Yeah.
At that time, it softened me.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
what it taught me was grace.
Oh.
What it
Yeah.
taught me, what
Yeah.
my brother gave, and I always say it as like he gave me these.
Yeah. Yeah. Girl, you got me in tears.
You're welcome. But what it taught me was grace, and not necessarily for myself, but that.
It takes them
Um, Correct, and I've always been gracious, but I always had a chip. I'm gonna own that.
Yeah.
I had a chip on my
Yeah.
shoulder. I went through a lot, right? It softens you. And so
Yeah.
like, what it allowed me to do was have these amazing conversations. Because
Absolutely.
back then, it wouldn't happen. So what you mean? Let's talk about you.
Exactly.
And so now we can be open. So did losing your sister? Because I can imagine I have only one sister. Jesus.
Yeah. I got one left.
And you
I don't have one brother at all, so if he
Yeah.
goes, it's
girl, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Like even though I lost, I can't imagine this so.
And we're so close.
Right? I
guess,
have
like
an
my best
extra.
friend, my brother.
Yeah. And I was.
And she was the mother.
Yeah.
Like, cause my mother wasn't really mothering. You know,
Yeah.
my mother
I got
got
one
her
of
place.
those.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
Cause my mother's still her mother. Cause I don't want to come off as disrespectful, but
Amen to
you
that.
know, it was the three sisters. So you know, cause my mama was on drugs, and so when she shorted, you know, her shortcomings, my sister, she stepped, you know, she stepped up to the plate. So you know, we created this bond like no other. So we became codependent upon each other,
Yes.
sir, if you will. And it's still in place, right? But it just hit different because I'm just like, oh man, I don't want to say this, but I'm gonna say it. There's several other people you can take.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not the person who determines when it's somebody's time to go, but leave her.
Right. Are
Right?
you mad at God?
No. No.
Because you know some people get mad.
Yeah, I know.
They do.
People do, but no, because I trust him.
Mm-hmm.
I trust that he knows what's best. But, you know, I wasn't mad at God, but I directed it at people.
Right.
Say that, because I know I did.
Yeah, I directed it at people, and me and because again, it's a trio. And it's me, Kiana, and this Jennifer, they already know, right? And I directed it at Kiana because then I went to pulling up all the shit that motherfucker, you ain't do this, you ain't do this.
You have So my brother said, what you do for him? What you do?
I felt like she wasn't there. Like this is what I told her. And you know,
Wow.
we've had conversations,
Girl.
and she know I'm just open, right? But I took it out on her, and not to justify her actions or whatever, right? I felt like you could have been there for me more,
Right.
and I honed in on that, right? And I'm just like, I expected you to be me.
Yes.
I'll be perfectly
Yeah.
honest. I know how I want to
Yes.
show up.
Right.
Yes. But that was a lesson I had to learn.
Ooh.
You stop expecting you from people. You
Ooh.
are you.
Well, that is
It's hard
It is.
because
hard.
you're not in your mind. You're not expecting it. You just think this is life. This is what people do for the people they love.
Mhm.
And I
But you
know
don't think that you're expecting it because you look at it like this is
this
exactly
is what it
you
should be.
Right, but it's
I
but
feel
it's
like you
really
can relate,
it's
maybe
really
not
you.
death, but
Yeah.
I feel like you can relate in
Yeah,
the sense
all
of
the
like,
time.
because you're a giving, nurturing person.
Right. Mhm.
And so like, I feel like we all three are.
Yeah. Listen, I just had a best friend who told me we're no longer friends right now. We're not talking. But I found out we're not talking because
Y'all on pause.
I don't get some of our friends because I would pause a full friendship.
right. And I feel like we're
I don't
probably
pause
not.
friendships. You won't fucking talk
Me
to
and
me.
this girl have been friends before I had my oldest son. My oldest son's about to be 19, so we've been friends since college.
Yeah.
20 years.
Yeah.
And we're not talking anymore because she feels like my current relationship is not what I deserve. And she doesn't want to pick me up off the floor when it goes bad. And I said, well, why does it have to go bad? Like, why do you want it to go bad? Why would you even speak that to go bad?
I don't think she's speaking it, but I think that that's low key what she expects.
Right.
Given whatever the dynamics
Right.
of y'all
Uh-huh.
relationship is.
Right, and I told her, listen, I don't care whatever you do, I'm gonna say what I say about the person you with, but I'm gonna love you regardless.
Exactly.
And I'm
Round
gonna
it
get
out.
101 times to pick
Come
you
on
up
now.
off the floor. I don't care if I'm picking you up the floor to go back to this nigga, or I'm picking you up the floor to walk away from
Because
you.
I'm not here to make you the
Right, but I'm gonna pick your ass up regardless.
Yes.
And that's
many
where
times as
unconditional.
possible.
Yes.
But that's when you find
Exactly.
out, like, you are loving somebody
Conditionally.
and they're not doing that for you. They're
That
not.
is home. And I don't think a lot of people recognize that
Mhm.
because I can remember doing a show with another podcast, like some other podcasters or whatever, and it was like one of the questions was like, if you seen one of your homeboys or your homegirls like cheating or whatever, would you tell your homegirl or your homeboy?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, it all depends on the friend, to be
Right.
honest with you, right?
Right.
So if it depends on the
Everybody's
friend,
cut with the same
Yeah.
cloth.
right,
Yeah.
but regardless of whether let's talk about the friend who wants to be told. So
Right.
even if I tell the friend who wants to be told, I'm not here to tell you what to do with the
Mhm.
information.
Mm-hmm.
It's just my obligation
Right.
to you
Right.
is why I told you. But I'm not here to tell you what to do with it. Regardless whether you stay or whether you go, I got you 110%.
Right, because I'm not in a relationship with him. I'm in a
Exactly.
relationship with you.
I'm gonna love that nigga. He gets residual, right?
Right.
He gets love because he with you.
Right, listen, my
But the
other
moment
best
he talks,
this is my other best friend.
you
we
were
were
blessed.
It's three of us. So the one I ain't talking to, but the other one, I love her to death because every time I call her and I vent,
Yeah.
she's like, "Do you want advice?"
Or you wanna listen?
Right. She's like, "I've been telling you what you don't want to hear. You don't want to hear it." She said, "Or I can just let you talk. Which one do you want?"
Correct. What mood you in today?
So like, while my brother went in the process of my brother passing away, like a month later, I lost one of my oldest and dearest friends. I don't lose her; she lost me. And I'm gonna say
Period.
that.
I mean,
Period. You know why? Because at the end of the day, I didn't change. I got better.
Yeah.
If I changed, I got better.
yeah.
And I was
Yeah,
more
yeah,
authentic.
Yeah.
So I think what I feel is that people have internal issues, and why they don't deal well with that is usually, I'm not gonna speak for everybody, it's
Right.
usually a sense of jealousy, usually a sense of insecurity,
Yeah.
or they're going through their
Yeah.
own pain and they're not keeping it real.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I can agree.
And because I come off very, I don't want to say abrasive because I think I'm generally careful with my words,
I
but my
probably do.
passion, but my passion is behind it.
She is
No, I'm real, right?
our first outing together, it was not careful.
You know why?
She was making females cry. I was like, oh my
The
god.
only reason I make her cry
Right, yeah.
is because the only thing I don't do well with is disrespect.
Hello.
And at the end of the day,
True Leo.
don't like me.
I said, here it is.
Yes,
I see it.
But what I do is I do have patience, so I will take. But at the end of the day, if you keep
Yeah.
taking and I'm left with nothing, you're gonna know.
I'm
And so like I'm a friend that's like, girl, you ask me for my opinion, I'm gonna give it to you. If you don't like my opinion and you stop talking to me, that's you out.
good riddance.
Bye! I didn't lose anything. So I feel like at the end of the day, the authenticity, you have a problem with you if you have that issue.
Yeah, I agree.
If your friend
Yeah.
can't take that you're dating somebody that she may not always like or
Right.
doesn't understand,
No, she has a problem with it.
at
she's
the end of
boss.
the day,
She's
is
boss.
she your fucking friend?
Right.
Because I feel like this. Relationships have issues because they are not ride or die. And I cannot like you sometimes, but I'm gonna love you through it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that's the problem with relationships.
I feel like they can still love you. And the reason why I say this is a personal experience, and I'm not going to give it the essence, right?
Yeah.
It's all when I identify the person.
Right.
But I feel like a person can still love you and not necessarily agree with your choice,
Yes.
right? And it's because more or less their thought process is boxed. They don't know how to think outside that
Right.
box, right? So they want you to receive it as, I don't think that this is best for you,
Right.
right? So if I remove myself from the situation and from you, then they think that you should be thinking like, they think that they want you to make a shift, right?
Choose
I want you to
right.
recognize that this
Yeah.
is not best for you as well. But that's not your place,
Exactly.
right? It's not. You're not here to make decisions. You're not God, right?
Correct.
So you let me take my process
Right.
and do exactly what we should do. It's right or die. We heal through it all, right? Love unconditionally. But everybody's not fully capable, is what I realize, right? But at the end of the day, even if they walk away, I ain't gonna say good riddance. I'm just being funny when I say that, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm just talking shit.
It's hard to
right?
mourn a person that's still alive but not no more in your life.
Right?
Right?
When I watch
But
this
I
shit.
feel one thing I will say. Yeah, because like girl, I watch back. She gonna make me cry.
Right.
But one thing I will say
I might
about that,
put that in the clip.
a good
Yes.
riddance is like it's a defense mechanism.
It
They
is.
try and lose you know.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you are mourning. So what I don't forgive is that you made me mourn my brother
Yeah.
and you at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Because
That's
that wasn't
fair.
the time or
It's not fair.
Not
correct.
at all.
And so I'm big on that. And I'm big on those things shaped all of me right now.
Mhm.
So I am a softer me because I had to be.
Yeah.
Because the people that do deserve me in their
Yeah.
life, that do care, that do
Yeah.
give and take, deserve a softer me.
Yeah.
I was a very
Yeah.
abrasive. I won't say abrasive. What I will say is that you wasn't gonna come for me.
Yeah, boy, direct by you, Jim.
Nicole knows.
So get ice cream if you don't want to fight.
I am an all-in, unconditional. Like I'm gonna tell you about yourself because I feel like friends should be that.
You should be.
Friends should hold you accountable because not because they want to tell you about yourself, but because they love you enough to tell you about yourself.
Exactly.
That's different.
Right.
So like, there's times where I'm like, I necessarily don't agree. Correct.
Right.
But there's a level of maturity that comes with that. Like you can't just mess with everybody.
Even if she won't agree with some of my decisions, but she gonna listen. When we say
Yeah,
how I
'cause-
feel, and I'm gonna love you through it. So,
Exactly, because
let's
even
go
though we
this
may
one.
be beneficial, like you know what I'm saying, recipient wise, right? but at the same time, it's more beneficial to you,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no. It's like I told somebody. It's like I told somebody else. Like I was reluctant. Like I don't want to revert back to some of my old habits.
yes,
Right?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a routine that I usually take when it comes to whatever, right? So shit. And everybody was like, is it because of me? And I'm like, no, you know what I'm saying? You might be the beneficiary. Right. But it has nothing to do with you. It's all about me. So you may be you may benefit from it, but it's definitely not about you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And friendships should check their own ego.
Yes.
Like,
Please.
I have to check myself. You gotta check yourself. You gotta check
Right.
yourself. But I feel like, and I don't know, maybe like you had issues
Yeah.
with this, but like, I haven't because I refuse.
Yeah.
I am not. I
Turn these goddamn
can
phone down.
agree to
Don't
disagree.
lie to me.
Guys,
You're like, bitch, like, what is this?
and I'm gonna keep it real, like, I'm an unconditional person. You know why? Because I didn't receive that growing up. So I want
That's
to
what you
give
want to
the unconditional love I didn't
Yeah.
receive. That's a big part.
Yeah.
But I also feel like friendships are love affairs in a certain way,
I agree.
right?
I agree.
So like you're having a love affair with your friend. I don't get the whole I ain't talking to you because you did. I don't get that.
I'm
And
getting
so,
you
like,
don't
I
get it
can't
because you
be
don't
that.
function that way.
Hell no!
Yeah.
Girl, you gonna love me.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna talk to you about you because I am that way. So it's
Right.
in the transition from whatever happened with your sister-in-laws, you did get divorced, all of that.
Yeah.
I know that you lost some friends. Not because I know you like that. I don't know. But I know because you realize so much of who people are
Yeah.
when you're in the biggest growth of your life.
Well, I lost associates. I won't say I lost a friend, right? Because I only had 3 friends. Well, technically 4. Because
She got more now.
I might have 5, right? But it's a 3-friend best friend trio, right? And we're copacetic, so I didn't lose any of them. And then when I say 4, it's my sister, and when I say 5, it's my director, because my director is my cousin, right? He loves her. Okay. Right, but I didn't lose anyone in that circle. But you know,
You had to adjust. There was an adjustment made.
if they left, if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't know nothing about it.
This bitch is my hero.
Right.
Cause I feel
Right.
like
So
everyone's
you said you started the podcast, but you started with other people, right?
Yeah, I did.
So how did that transition?
Getting down to the wire.
You were solo.
Oh gosh. You know, I'm gonna say what I can say.
Appropriately.
Yeah.
I get it.
Correct, right? It did start off with 3 of us, right? And the names is irrelevant. I can say them because normally I don't say names in other words, right? But you know, it's we started off at individual podcasts, right?
Shout out to Studios. Going on to podcast.
So wait, they're my people. Angie, shout out!
Shout out.
Right, but all y'all jokers over there, Snoop, y'all already
my
know.
God.
Sean P, look, I'm fucking with everybody
All
over there.
of
Loose
them.
Cannon, like, I'm fucking with everybody over there. But that's what we started off at. And to not get into details, and it's some details that I don't even really know about, right? To be honest. And I'm not intrusive, I cannot know. But if this is where we're at, this is where we at. So I realized that some things had shifted and we needed to move. So once we moved to a different location, one of the co-hosts from the podcast ended up opening up a studio, and then we moved from Intervision to start podcasting. From that, and it was an adjustment, right? Because we didn't want to ruin relationships.
Right. Yeah.
And we didn't know exactly what happened because we was limited with information. And when I say, because it was Monique, right? Because people know, right? And I never gave this story, you may not get exactly what you want to hear, and it's cool. But Monique ended up opening up a whole nother dance studio, so we ended up podcasting there. And once we podcasted there, she wasn't as present as she was. to eventually it just moved to me and Kiana, which was my best friend. So Monique was a cousin and Kiana's a best friend. So then it was a solo show between me and Kiana. If I'm being perfectly honest, if I thought that it was gonna last forever, then I wasn't looking. I wasn't properly seeing.
The transition, you grow as people, you grow as artists, because this is an art. So like it's just like a gradual thing. I can't see myself doing this
But anybody else?
You locked in.
No, I already know.
But you really never know,
But-
right?
Correct.
You really never know.
I agree with that, but it's just like certain things just feel right.
Yeah.
And sometimes in the moment it transitions and it changes, but it just there's just certain things that just feel right. Go.
I'm not gonna say it.
Talk your
Hey.
shit, man. Talk your shit. I'm gonna use you against you. That's what we do here. Come on back. It's nothing against the person. It's what life took you there. Like I always see like people get so offended by truth, but sometimes the truth isn't to offend, and you still
It's
love
just
the
truth.
person. It's just truth. Like
Yeah.
so you just
Deal with
outgrew what it was,
Absolutely.
and so you became this beautiful thing.
Well, I was
that
always
is-
the one who was passionate, right? So it was always my vision. Even though, they came into the fold or whatever, it was the vision stayed, right? So once she walked away, we gave no explanation. And then I already knew, like when I say, like if I see that this was going to be longevity or whatever with my best friend, then I would properly see it. I ain't have glasses on. Because my best friend she's not an open book. And the platform requires you to be an open book.
It's very hard. If you're not there, you
You're
can't
just
do
not
it.
there.
You just can't do it.
Yeah, and that's
probably
fine.
good.
So once you recognized that she wasn't an open book, then she left. And at that point, you go back to the drawing board, and I'm just like, it was always my vision. I was the one who's very passionate about the vision, and COVID hadn't hit. And COVID COVID put a monkey wrench in there. I won't even say that, but look at it like that, right? Because everything happens in its perfect timing. But it allowed me to be like, well, what you gonna do? Because I never had any intentions on stopping it, but I didn't know how it was gonna go forward.
Right.
Because it's a little discouraging, right? And it's like, fuck, come on now, bro. Like, you gotta be kidding me. But I'm just like, fuck that shit.
Right.
I carry the show.
But at the end of the day, what it did do, what I feel COVID did for people on this kind of platform is it gave you a fucking a lighter on your ass. And what I say is like do or die. I'm gonna either do it because I'm passionate about it, or I'm not gonna do it at all.
Yeah.
And that's with everything.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm drooling.
It's okay. Ain't nobody see it.
I've been calling it out. I've been calling it out. What I think it did for even with Nikki,
Yeah.
Live Fighter, what you want to do?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? And I think
We
COVID
both
is,
are private people.
yeah,
It's crazy. I'm more private.
Yeah.
But
You
if
know what's
somebody
funny?
get you to talk, then you'll talk.
Yeah.
you know what's funny is she's less private than I was.
I can believe that, but she has to be.
Almost
She has to
pushed.
be. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what it did for us, it was like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And how quickly can you get to where you are feeling fulfilled?
Yeah.
And so I feel like that happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody's gone, but I ain't done with this.
Yeah,
This is still a fire in me. Girl,
Exactly. And that's what brought me to the next step, because then I went to, as far as who I went to, I'm gonna give them a shout out. I went to my niece, and it was a few other people in there.
Shout out, niece.
Yeah. Well, we had this revamping meeting, and I was like, because people was like, what you saying? Like, I know, bro. Like,
Bring
because nobody
back.
figured that I was
Yeah.
done, right? Some people may have figured I was done, but the people who was closest to me knew I wasn't done.
Yeah.
Right, so they was like, well, what we gonna do? And I was like, I need a revamp, right? I don't want to stick with spoken word's purpose. The goal is the same, because again, it was my vision. And let's revamp this thing, right? So we went to the drawing board.
Talk your shit.
Come on, man, that's how Talk Your Shit came about. Like we had some other names came about, and there's some other things that be disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
I love
If you
that.
think you know what direction
That's
I'm
a
gonna go.
t-shirt shit.
Come on now.
Right.
Box me because
Yeah.
You gonna be,
disappointed.
come on!
Can somebody put that in the back?
Right.
You know I'm a hip hop player. Please listen, my boys. You know what I'm talking about.
Boys, what's up?
Don't box me because I'm gonna disappoint.
Come on, you gonna be
That's
greatly
a freaking-
disappointed.
Ah.
You are, because
I was
gonna
gonna ask you for
box.
some inspiration. Like, what inspired you? That's a whole.
That's exactly what it is. The vision inspired me. But at the end of the day, once I went to that drawing board and I was like, once you start getting it hit, like, oh gosh, oh, this Rebecca thing is coming right.
It aligns.
Right.
Because when you're ready, the Lord will give you what you want.
Because I was a little
Yeah.
discouraged. I was like, not that I wasn't willing to stop, but like, just think of a writer when they get writer's block.
Like, that's generally who I am. I'm considered myself that, so I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
And like, I have so much to say, but I can't say it.
Yeah. You don't know how to put it into words or even know how to bring it, like, you don't even know how to, it's in there, but you don't even, come on now. Come on now. So once it was there, and then it started coming to life for me, and I'm like, oh man, because I used to cry. You know what I'm saying? Because people don't understand. Like, again, they just see the
Creators
show.
need to create in order to be who they are.
They can't give
So,
you
like-
material if you don't create.
I'm just saying because I feel like people who create and art of all, like, I love art of all forms because I'm
Yes.
genuinely, like, that's
Yes.
who I am. I appreciate it. Even Nikki, like, I'm so proud of her
Yeah.
for, like,
Yeah.
My fitness, when I
But it's an art.
I'd be like,
It's an art and it's a passion.
We gotta
So like I just feel like people who were supposed to create will be creating because that's it feels wrong not to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wrap this up.
Listen.
Bro!
I just want to shout out T. Murray. 'Cause listen, he
Oh, I'm with
told
that.
me-
T. Murray, I'm coming back.
Listen.
T. Murray will be on our
When I was
podcast.
at Every Vision, T. Murray was like, if you don't do anything tonight, you gotta get her number and her information. He was like, that's somebody
Yeah.
you need to connect with.
Yeah.
He's such a person.
And it's on the same damn thing.
You know what's funny? What I will tell you is that he gets like-minded individuals.
Yes.
He reads
He's a
people
person of like
His
energy.
I think
Yes.
he's genuine. He's
Amen.
just
So
like
I love him
Yeah.
and I know him softly, right?
Yeah.
So like I don't know
Right.
him deep. But every
is
word,
genuine.
everything, it just feels, and that's why
The
people
energy's
gravitate
right.
toward him.
Yeah.
Because when you fake, eventually people are like,
Right. And that's
See,
he
but
could have
it's
been
just-
somebody that kept you to himself.
thank you, because he
Like,
does his own thing.
Right.
So shout out, we don't
We love you, T. Murray.
Much love.
love.
I ain't gonna blow you no kiss because I'm happy about that shit later.
From these
Wait, let's clarify.
We talking about winky eyes and kissy faces and all that.
So listen, I'm so mean that I don't think like that. So T. Murray, I ain't trying to get you. If you're putting it out there, there is no she action. There is love from here and from here. But boy, you ain't getting all this.
I think you know what the lick read, but we're gonna be sorry about.
So before we go, I need you to share where they can find you.
Yes.
Every platform you're on,
Yes.
please share.
All right, so Instagram is literally all combined. It's Talk Yo Wow shit. It is really spelled out shit. Because people like to put that exclamation point in there, but it's shit. And then it's TYS on Facebook. It's TYS Space Podcast. I think that's probably the only place that says that, but everywhere else is Talk Your Shit Podcast on every other platform. It's a new business adventure that I'm tackling. Alright. In addition to expanding Talk Your Shit, now that's coming. Expanding Talk Your Shit.
Yes.
But also we have the networkisnetwork.com, right? It's a bunch of different podcasters that collab, and we created our own YouTube channel. A place where, you know, obviously we're podcasters, so we're passionate about podcasting. But it's more to come on that, right? So it's a platform where we can all come in and kind of work together and promote and support each other's material, whatever. But and it'll be beneficial to everybody. But you'll get more on that soon, and we do have our first event coming up, which will be a secret page. So y'all can look out there.
You gonna be posting
Stay tuned. Correct. But other than that, look, that's just me. I'm just Tanya. I can't be nobody different from me. If you are interested, if you have a story to tell, if you're not gonna tell it on this podcast, because again, we're not here. We're not competing.
Nope.
That's
You
enough.
can tell I'm both. Go
Exactly.
ahead.
Right. You feel like you want all three?
Right.
Let us know, right? But at the end of the day, if you have a story to be told, let me know. If you feel like you're not bold enough to tell the story, but you feel like it's a story that still needs to be told, listen, I'll find somebody to tell that story for you, right? And if I can't find nobody to tell you that story for you, I am one that's going to tell that motherfucker for you, my own damn self, right? But at the end of the day, the goal is to tell stories. Right? Not to tell stories, to tell about real life experiences, because you never know that somebody else might be dealing with the same thing. And even though your experience may not help, because everybody gonna go through the same journey. They're not gonna go through the same experience the same way. So I'm not trying to tell you how to go through your experience, but it's here to let you know that you're not alone.
It's insight.
Exactly.
What you gave me is insight. Like, I didn't know what I didn't know. And so, like, sometimes what I have learned with you guys, and I say it with Nikki too, is that Nikki don't even know sometimes she's feeding me something I needed to hear. And I give her all the flowers.
I am.
Because
she always tell me what I do, and I'm like,
what? No! I want to give you both your flowers, because even Saturday, driving home, and we had a conversation, I'm in tears.
Yeah.
Because it's almost, it becomes a sisterhood that you didn't even know you needed.
Right.
You didn't even know. I got friends. And it just became that. And so, like, I definitely have been taking nuggets every moment. And sometimes it's like, dang, she said that last week. So I'm just going to say it. I'm just saying, because really, like, you don't know. And what podcasts do, what these storytelling is that it feeds you things in the moment you may not know you need even a week later. So like, y'all been feeding me. Thank you. Thank you. And again, a special shout out to T Murphy for making the connection. Nikki, thank you for making the connection with Sujay.
Yes.
So the appreciation extends beyond yours, right? Because I appreciate you guys. I told some people about you, whatever. I think it was an excellent episode, but beyond the episode, But it goes beyond that for me. Because you don't find a lot of genuine people, or real people, or even people who even really genuinely want to work together and give you a seat on their platform. Like some people won't even give you a seat on their platform. Because girl, you beautiful and you can talk your shit. Really? What I have learned, I always used to think, and that's close my
and they are intimidating. We may need to talk
I
about
don't even think, we gonna do part 3.
We might need to do a once a month thing.
Come on, let's make this a series. We don't talk behind the scenes.
Because at the end of the day, what I didn't realize, this is my close-mindedness, is like, you know how like, oh, not everybody's you. I always expected, like, if you're a good person, people are gonna,
You gonna be good?
Yeah.
they ain't. And they have a problem with strong-minded, outspoken females. And we just not shutting up.
Yeah.
We just gonna talk our shit like she says.
In your face.
And at the end of the day, those people will come to light. The real people and the real stories, that's what I care about.
Yes.
So like, it's just a growing process. But this year, what I've learned is like, people are gonna like you for being amazing.
Yeah.
Even for being shitty. Like, people are just not gonna like you just because you bring something to the table that they may not bring.
Right.
So what I love about you, if I could say, real
I ain't used to get flowers now. Look, I'm
what I truly liked is that it felt like a sisterhood from jump. You like, it didn't feel fake. It didn't feel forced. It didn't feel because you were doing a podcast. It felt like, let's grow together.
Yes.
Because that's what we could do.
That's what I need.
That's what we could do.
Yeah.
And if you ain't with it, bye.
Right.
And for everybody.
Right.
Bye. For everybody. But whoever is fine.
underscore 1 follow.